we want to be responsible. We have to govern our emotion of excitement to serve and help you with what we're capable of actually doing to give you the best 100% of what we have to offer. So that's that. So for now, if you sign up until we say otherwise, until you know otherwise, assume that you get that fast action bonus. We will honor that 100%. Now I got some questions, and here's the challenge when you do something like this. And actually okay, good. It's like something is picking up and it's freezing on my screen here. Okay, cool. Yep. I might have to go to my phone because we have people in the chat that I specifically said, let's flag question and let's answer them. And we're going to spend enough time here to answer your questions. There's so many of you on here right now that it is insane. We will go as long as we can. That's my promise to you. We will commit to you as much as we possibly can until we can't do any more. In return, I ask for you to commit to us patience as we go through this. One of the first things that I have is a lot of questions is some of you are trying to sign up, which is another reason we want to extend the bonus a little bit further, because I know you, I see you, you're on the checkout process. Something weird is happening. You went to checkout and a hiccup occurred. You couldn't make it process. You can try another browser. You can try another tab. You can try another credit card. You can reach out to support. But you got to do it fast, because the fast action bonus, we have extended it once. We don't want to extend it again. We won't extend it again. And when we come up with the limit, we'll come up with the limit. So do whatever you can to sign up. If you need to reach out, if you need help, we got you. We will be here to help you as well. So that's the first thing that I wanted to bring in. Now, here's a real cool comment I wanted to say before we do anything more. As Sean Brisbane said, the small amount for you, big deal for us, Iman. And I want to contextualize that. So for what Iman is offering you in terms of value and what he's asking you to invest in it is objectively a small amount. And it is objectively for Iman a small splash of revenue in a large pond of wealth. So I am glad to see that sentiment echoed here. And, that's accurate. So I wanted to acknowledge that. Now, on the flip side here, and this is weird when you deal with thousands of people. I will see, what are we at right now here? Top
26,000.
26,000. Yeah. So only 10,000 people got allergic to being sold something and ran for the hills, right? The rest of you stayed here and stayed sane, which is cool. Now, Denver said, he goes, I only got $5 to my name. So we have, when you reach 20-some thousand people, and we reached over 500,000 people in the last 24 hours, you are going to run the spectrum of all conditions of the human experience. And it's beautiful no matter who you are or where you are on that spectrum. I've had a lot of money. I've had negative money. I always was a good person underneath it all, and I always did the best that I could. So if you're in the camp that Denver's in, where you only have a small amount of money to your name, then do not invest in this program, okay? Do not invest in it right now. Do it when it makes sense for you. Now, I know that this is the major majority of you are not in this situation. Only the very small minority of you are. A lot of you are in a situation where you're determining if the investment makes sense for you due to your situation and circumstance, which is why we're here to work through that. See, when you make a slide deck, the AI hasn't got it to the point yet where I can make the slide deck change depending upon whose eyes are looking upon it. We're working on that technology. That's $1 trillion technology. So instead, man, I'm getting hammered on the questions here. I'm going to go to the phone. And by the way, this is real life. This is how this works in the real world, guys. Plan A doesn't usually work. Plan B kind of works. Plan C starts to work, and plan D, E, F, and G is when the breakthrough happens. And so this is good reality to model for you. So those of you in the middle, let's help you decide if this makes a good investment. And I will say, our focus overall is not on selling you this product. If you run the totality of time between all of the sessions, between all of the education, between all of the communication, as a fraction, as a small period of it, is us offering you an invitation to join us. A majority of our time will be spent helping, empowering you, regardless of your decision to invest with us today or not. However, with that said, due to the nature of the fast action bonuses and due to the nature of everybody seeing this for the first time, we will spend a majority of focus on this call on this one particular topic, okay? That doesn't mean just because it's a full moon right now that it will be a full moon 24/7, 365. It's only a full moon every so often, and this is one of those times, okay? To that effect, I want you to also acknowledge something else before we dig into the specific questions. You do not have to sit through all of this training. The perk, besides the natural investment in growing yourself of sitting through this training, is you don't pay $2,999 for synthesis, right? So people, and these are the people that don't get it. So count yourself lucky that you aren't one of them. These are the people that say, get to the point, Iman, get to the point. Come on, just get to the point. Blah, 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 blah. If you want to get to the point, it's $2,999. That's what the point is. If you want to invest in education and circumstance and context, then we will hook you up and we will reward you. Just like friends have each other's backs. They don't have the backs of strangers, but we have to build the friendship over a period of time, which is what we've done here. And that's what's really amazing. So we will spend time on what you get. If it makes sense for you to get it, your specific circumstance and situation, we'll chew on the investment, because many of you, here's what's going to happen. The first thing you're going to focus on is the price, and then you're not going to focus on the value. So we're going to do holistically price and value and everything in between. Now, here's an interesting question. And again, this speaks to the tapestry of beautiful individuals that all show up here together with us. He says, this is a great deal, really, but majority of us are teens and unemployed and rely on our parents. So how do you expect us to pay? First of all, that is your reality. That is not the reality, okay? There are people of all different ages, demographics, and positions. Here's the good thing about that, by the way. AI, the one that we have, that makes all of that inconsequential. So from a delivery perspective, you no longer have to worry about, what about my accent? You no longer have to worry about, but my grammar ain't that good. You no longer have to worry about, well, will somebody judge me because of my skin color or because of how I show up or because of my age, right? AI removes the individual and puts what should have always be at the forefront, which is the digital product itself, not the person that's offering it, but the product itself. So that's good for you. On the other hand, if you are in a situation where you are completely unemployed, if you're under the age of the 18, like if you're not an adult yet who has legal adult decisions with consequences you can live with, then invest in your education and your knowledge base and your time and try to develop assets as best as you can, however you can do that, right? But we also know there are a tremendous amount of people who have the means right now. And their question is, what do I spend my money on and who do I spend it with? And so let's just be able to acknowledge that I'm going to talk to a lot of you from a lot of different backgrounds, and I will meet you where you're at and then determine where we go together. Is that fair? Let me know if that's fair. Actually, don't let me know if that's fair. I'm not used to talking to 26,000 people at once, right? You'll drown me in this, okay? So another person says, I'm having trouble signing up. So we're going to work through that. It could be on your end. It could be on our end. Again, the internet is funny. It never does the same thing twice for two different people. So hang in with us, hit up support, try again in a different browser, try a different credit card, do whatever you can to get in. By the way, the state in which you invest in a product carries over into how you carry yourself as you use the product. So if you seize the day and you use that excitement, that creates an avalanche of positive reinforcement to help you be successful. Okay. Small amount for someone that's rich. Yeah, it really is. It's a small amount. It actually isn't, in a sense. It's a large amount because it has to be. $14.95 is very little compared to all of the costs that it covers on our end to fulfill it and deliver it to you. So it's very little. Now, objectively, $1,495. I don't want a single one of you carelessly thinking, it's just $1,500. Let me just throw it at something, right? I was just in Vegas last week, and I seen a lot of broke people say, it's just this, and then watch their money disappear. So you should always take serious concerns with your money very seriously. So on one hand, $14.95 is a significant and serious investment. On the other hand, compared to what? Compared to the things you get, it is cheaper than free, because the wrong AI for free. By the way, you know what you get for free advice? It's worth everything you pay for it, by the way. So you got to be careful with free. You got to be careful with free. So it's what you put into what it gets, right? A practical question from WAP, the WAP marketplace. How do foreigners get paid when they use WAP?
Well, we probably have the most robust payment system in the world, and that's been one of my biggest focus. I think I've told a story before about how I created a digital product 9 years ago, or almost 10 years ago at this point, and I was like, but how do I even get paid? And for me, I want to make sure that how heartbreaking if you're in a situation where you know how to make money, you have the opportunity to make money, but you just can't even get it out. So WAP has, I'm not exaggerating, more payments and payouts option than anything else. So no matter where you are in the world, you'll be good.
Yeah, you're going to have your best chance of success. Now, is there a 100% guarantee that anything you ever do will always guarantee you get paid? No, this is why they have insurance on banks. And this is why if you put money in a bank, it's 99.9999999% sure. So you have the best chance by far. Like if any of you are using Stripe right now, like go to a doctor, take a psychological exam, and make sure you're not insane, okay? Because Stripe is about the most dangerous thing that you could ever put your hands into. And by the way, Stripe is like the worst of a bad bunch. You want multiple options and you want redundancies in businesses. I do not like the social media rhetoric that's good for ClickBank, where it's like, go all in, burn the bridges, a no plan B. Like, come on, son, right? This is your future we're talking about here. We want to have support. We want to have redundancies. I want to have a way that if I fall on my ass, I got 6 people that'll pick me back up and help me back on my feet. And then when they fall on their ass, I'll be one of those 6 people that help pick them up back on their feet. By the way, when you invest in something like this, you come into a community that's transformative by the identity that it's created when you join the community. So now you're not just somebody who's thinking about doing that digital product thing. You are somebody who's committed both in time and money and psychologically with a group of people pointed in the right direction simultaneously. They call it a mastermind because the mastering of all the minds is greater than any individual mind, and you get to step into that as well. And on that note, Jade asks a great question. She says, besides trusting the software and the process, what can I do to help myself be successful? You're already on the right path because you're asking yourself the right questions. We had a whole segment here today that we removed from time in this presentation that changed the game from what if I fail to how can I set myself up to succeed. So the nature of the questions you ask largely determines the answer you get. This is why AI is so powerful, because we ask it the questions and it gives us the answers. So I will tell you some practical things that you can do to be successful. Step number 1 is don't try to do it all in a day. All right. This is a process that takes time. And the number one thing that will allow you to succeed more than any other thing is small wins multiplied over a period of time. You will see occasionally somebody hit the lottery, as we call it in this business. Some idiot who doesn't deserve $10 and shouldn't run a hot dog stand all of a sudden falls ass backwards into $1 million deal, right? And then they pretend they know all the answers and they tell everybody else. And then other people try to model them. That is insanity. The highest probability of success, the things that you can do to stack the deck in your favor the most, you know what they are? A tiny win every single day multiplied over a period of time. Joiniman.com. See, I'm not even doing my job right now. I got to be telling you where to go to sign up, but I'm so interested in having this discussion and conversation with you because I don't know if you're aware of it, but you are part of a changing of history right now. And regardless of where you decide to go after today, you should always look back on and have gratitude towards a day where you are sharing this energetic force, which is going to create monumental change. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. All right. You will never be the same after today. I don't know if you realize that yet because you have seen the future and this will affect you consciously and unconsciously in your behavior. And it will move you more likely into the path of success, which you're already looking forward to. Okay. But my advice to you is small wins compounded over a period of time. I started with a $4 info product that was 6 pages long and it had a typo in the first sentence. I came from a small town in Iowa and now we're in a large city somewhere without a zip code. That's how good Dubai is. They're like, we don't even need zip codes in here. Normally they say like, you are the zip code you hang in determines your success. We don't have a zip code. So I guess we are on a whole nother level of success, right? How do you contact support? Go to joiniman.com. There will be support info on that page. When you go to checkout, if you have any problems with checkout, somebody should be pinged if you start to fill out the process and somehow or another it doesn't go through. We are this serious committed to your success that we have people on standby that will reach out to you by email and be like, hey, I noticed you were checking out. Is there anything I can do to help? But this is the other thing that can be helpful to you is be proactive. You know what the easiest way is to get your tire changed if you have a flat on the side of the road? It's to try to change it yourself. people are 10 times more likely to stop and give you a hand if they see you trying to help yourself. So when you come to somebody and you say, I don't know how to do X, and then you end the conversation there, the likelihood of getting support goes down. When you go to somebody and say, I don't know how to do X, but I'm thinking I try A, B, or C, then the likelihood of support goes up. So this goes back to success in any area of life. We are here to help you, but we do this together. We are responsible for ourselves. We are also responsible for how we help each other so we can be the best. The best thing I can do for you is be the best me. The best thing you could do for me is to be the best you, and then we can hang out and do that together. So yes, there are options for support. It's at joiniman.com. Davis has just registered, ready to hit the ground running with you guys. That is the attitude, okay? Now, I will give you a little bit of dose of reality, a good dose. You wake up tomorrow and it won't feel like too much has changed other than you've seen your bank account go down about $14.95, right? You'll be like, okay, well, so I'm at a deficit right now. Not exactly. You've made an investment in a new direction, but fundamentally your life will seem the same from the outward looking in. So let's hit the ground running. But if we get tired, let's take a break. Let's realize that it's more than just a race. It's a journey. It's not just the destination. It's who you become as you go along that destination. And so this is what we're going to support with you as well as you go through this. And if you got in, and I know all of you who signed up so far have got in on that extra special 4-week coaching with Iman, you can't run for 4 weeks straight. Don't try it. You will die. But over a period of 4 weeks together, we will start to form whole new ways in which we can coexist with reality and create value for not just ourselves, but for the entirety of everybody that we reach. Joiniman.com. That's where we can make this happen. I don't mind sending this amount if I can finance it. Will be very helpful. So this is a question from HCH something, something, something. Because I'm willing to get it back quick by committing to the program. Please, any help is appreciated. We do have financing options. We did not get into them here today. Maybe on day 3 or day 4, if this becomes more of a priority, if people are really interested in that, we can spend some time unpacking that. The general rule of thumb is if it's really hard for you to finance it, it's best that you don't sign up. However, there are exceptions to this rule. The first big ticket product I ever bought was in 2006. It was a $2,000 course. I had a credit card that had a $500 limit because that's all I was good for. I mean, and I think the bank was taking a chance at $500, Iman. And so here's what I did. I was painting houses, working for my boss at the time, and I had about $3,000 in my bank account. So I said, if I write you a check, can you use your credit card to buy this product for me online? And he bought the product for me, and I cut him a check and wrote it back, right? So there are exceptions to this rule. If you're somebody who feels like you are absolutely committed and this is just a temporary issue that can be resolved very quickly, there are financing options available. When you go to joiniman.com and you click on that link to start filling out the form to enroll, you will see options for financing. They may be different for you depending upon location. So that's another reason why we didn't want to get into this.
So just a heads up.
Yep.
In Europe, we have something called Split It. We are the only ones that you're going to find this with. And here's actually the incredible part of it. It's zero cost. It's actually for Split It. It's zero cost. We take that cost. So that's actually money. Like, this is how much we're committed to making sure that you guys succeed. Like, we're literally taking on that cost. And by the way, that cost is a double-digit cost. It's not cheap because, once again, like the event, the theme of this whole event, we're taking all of the risk. So it actually doesn't cost you anymore. Now, with the US ones, they have different rules. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to set what that is. But once again, it's a very, very small amount. As Jason said, and I'm sure you guys understand, I don't like people don't ever put yourself in a bad situation. You're a responsible adult, and the difference between an expense and an investment.
That's a great point. So there is financing options available to you. Be responsible with them. You know you better than I know you, but at least I give you the opportunity to help that. And if you need any more clarification, I am happy to help. Okay. Shona has a great question. She says, I think it's a she or a he. No, it's a she, because this is the question. I want to purchase. However, I'm not in the situation to make a purchase because I am a mom and I have a lot of responsibilities. I've been watching Iman videos for a long time and want to do this. Okay. So let's parse that, because that may or may not be a good decision for you. I was a single father for a large majority of time. Actually, the best launch that I ever did was during the worst personal challenge of my time, personally, spiritually, and emotionally. When we did a $57 million launch, and my personal life was as difficult as it ever had been in its entirety. So we can acknowledge that both we have lots of responsibilities and challenges, and that we also should do things that make sense for us. Here's the lesson I've learned in this business. Take it for what it is. By the way, this is how I like to sell. Even when I sell, I'm dropping dimes. I'm giving you wisdom, giving you gems here, right? If it's the thing that you're supposed to do, then it doesn't matter how hard it is, because you're supposed to do it. If it's easy, great. If it's hard, I hate that. But if you have to do it, you still do it even when it's hard. Oftentimes, the things that you should be doing are the hard things. I have this weird thing that when something is hard, I say, oh, that's a clue. It gives me second look to investigate it further. And so if you are a mother who can then take your new responsibilities and use that as motivation to grow into more, then actually you have an advantage that other people might not have. Okay? So I would not disqualify myself simply because I have lots of responsibilities going on currently in the moment. I would seriously take a look at this, and I would ask myself, I'm going to ask you this, Shona, right? You've been watching Iman for a long period of time. If not now, then when? Have you ever thought about it? How would you know when it would make sense for you to sign up? Because you're going to be a mother the rest of your life, and you're going to have responsibilities the rest of your life. So we have to determine if those responsibilities actually should be the reason for you to sign up. And I don't know what it is, and I'll be happy to discourse on this some more. But this is what we're doing right now, is help you make the decision that makes the most sense for you. If it's a no decision and you're clear and you're strong on that, fantastic. We will support you. Come tomorrow, bring some popcorn. We're going to train. We're going to jam. We're going to have a good time, right? If it's a yes decision and you should make it, I want to help you make that, because the sooner you say yes, the sooner you can get involved in this program, the sooner you can move to the next step. The maybes are what we're here to figure out here today, because I have this thing called the disease of indecision. When you sit in indecision, it creates anxiety, which literally will create disease for you. So the worst thing we can do is sit here thinking about it for too long and being worried. And should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? And so this is us assisting you, helping you make a decision one way or the other. And I'm cool with anybody who makes a solid decision and stands behind that, because that's a mark of a winner, regardless of whether that decision's a no decision or a yes decision. Now, I've been doing this a while. I know most people who've been here for a couple hours today, a couple hours yesterday, who are on the chat, who are active. They have a much higher likelihood of being qualified to say yes, and they just don't want to do it yet. Okay? I get you. I know you. I am you, right? So I'm cool with that. Like if we got to do this for another 30, 45, 40 minutes before we get down to the root of it and then have a conversation about it, we'll do that, right? We are here to serve you, though. If it doesn't make sense for you to do this, then this is how we serve you, by telling you to find a better option for you specifically, or nothing sometimes is the best option. Sometimes you just don't do anything, and that's better than doing anything, right? But for a majority of you, especially those of you who are resonating with this right now, the answer is probably yes. We just got to get to it in a way that you feel really good about it. And I'm here to help you with that, if that makes sense. So join Iman.com. Can we continue this program without purchasing these things? 100%, right? The beauty about free stuff is that we can deliver this to you without actually having too much of a cost on us. Every single day, you should thank the universe for the capabilities now to have access to knowledge like this. You know what most people do? They find a way to complain about it. Like, well, whatever. That's how the brain is programmed. That's the default setting. You are supposed to arise above your default setting. But yeah, all of this is 100% free to you. And by the way, we risk ridicule and hatred and vitriol by having the audacity to, God forbid, make you an offer and spend minutes, precious minutes, educating you on here's what phase 1 is, here's what phase 2 is, here's this bonus, here's that bonus. People will absolutely send us virtual hate mail. How dare you make an offer? And we don't do it for them. That's not who we do it for. You should never do anything for the people that wouldn't support you no matter what. You should do it for the tribe of people who you're trying to help. And then the rest of those people, whatever, right? Now, by the way, you don't have to incur that kind of emotional stress, and it is stressful, and it does bother me. And it hurts. I do it because I have a mission and a calling to empower and help those of you that I can reach and touch on this earth in the small time that we have together. You don't have to be me. And in fact, most of you, you're wiser not to be me or Iman. This is why you can create faceless products. This is why you can create non-expert products. Your choice. You can do what you want. Some of you know, I want to go out there and I want to put my face on the thing, and God bless you, right? Up until recently, that wasn't even a choice. Now it's a choice. So you don't have to incur that. Now we incur that because it's part of our mission and it's part of our calling, which is why it's here. It's 10:52 p.m. at night. I'm 42 years old. I got 3 kids. They make me feel like I'm 60 most days. I got 1 kid in one country right now, and I got 2 kids in another country. So when I come here in the morning to get ready for the session, I'm talking on FaceTime to one. And when I leave here tonight, the time zones are different enough that I'm talking to the other ones on the way home, right? So I would not do this if it wasn't something exceptional. Now, is it something you should do? That's what we're here to discuss. JoinIman.com. All right, so 404 Studios. Great name, by the way. We're going to get back to you. 404 Found Studios. Before that, Micah. And by the way, when we do these questions, several of you have the same question, and my producers send me the gist of it, often in the form of one individual person. So if I don't answer you specifically, if there's a question that resembles yours, we will get to it. And if not, be patient, but ask again after a reasonable period of time. Micah says, hi, Iman and Jason. My name is Micah. I'm 19 years old. I quit my job 3 months ago and went all in on trying to make it money online. All right, what's done is done. I tried multiple different ways, drop shipping throughout wholesaling, right? How did they work for you? If they work fantastic, here's what I would tell you, Micah. If you're crushing it with that right now, you could sign up for this. But the thing I want you to do is be focused on the thing that's working for you right now. Now, if this can add to it, and I think it probably could, because this is a one-of-a-kind offer where it's so damn good, you could use it for its unintended purpose and it would probably work, right? This is the Viagra of digital offerings. Like, I know that's a weird example, right? Let me explain. Viagra was initially a heart medication, and then the guys come in and were like, it's not helping my heart, but it's helping something else, right? Like, this could be used for unintended purposes, and it's that good that it will be effective for you. But if it's not working the way that you wanted it to, then you should probably invest in something like this. Listen, you are one of the small minority of people, about 10% of people. You know how 10% of the population is left-handed? About 10% of the population cannot operate under normal societal conditions. They can't do it, right? They just can't. So Micah, you might be one of those people. So you were going to quit your job anyway. You were going to go into drop shipping on a hope and a prayer, and fingers crossed, toes crossed, hoping it all works out, right? I will say, I would be very surprised if there's anything dollars to dimes on the internet that will match what you're getting right now. And by the way, this is a special deal. This is not something we would normally make as an offer. It's not something we could make as an offer. Let me give you a little bit of game here, okay? The way that this works is we create momentum in the marketplace. We make a big-ass splash, and everybody and their brother will talk about us on the internet for the next 6 months. And then that's how we get the leads that will pay the fair market value for an offering like this, which won't be whole package the way that it is right now. Each part will be significantly more of an investment than all of these pieces combined together. So you essentially get the benefit of being here as we unroll this to you, first mover advantage style, right? I don't know if you appreciate or understand that. So the cost for us to reach people at large is significant for the people that we reach. And so you get a special deal because it's easier to reach you. And who would we want to hook up? We want to hook up the people that took a chance on us, just like we're taking a chance on you, right? So this is the best deal that it will ever be. That I promise to you, right? So if that makes sense to you, I would love for you to have us as your co-pilots on your crazy ass journey, Micah. Now, I don't recommend 90% of you burn the bridges, quit the job, middle finger the boss, and then go all in on this, right? That is not something I would recommend to my children, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to you. But if you're wired that way, crazy, and by the way, I was that way. So if we don't die, we get rich, 50 Cent style. But, either way, if it's a good idea, it's a good idea. JoinIman.com. I got a couple more people. I got two more questions, and I want to kick something over your way, Iman. So 404 Found Studios. I love this, right? He says, for the people upset about the investment, I get it. It feels personal because of your financial situation. Truth is, he spent 10 plus years doing the hard work. He has the right to charge for this. Yes. Some people get upset when you give stuff away for free. Yep. They do. Some people get upset when you give them money. I have in-laws that I don't talk to anymore because they're like, is that all the money you're going to give me? It is now. Yeah. So some people will get mad when you give them money. Some people will get mad when you don't charge anything. And some people will get upset if you put your whole life story in a book and you sell it on Amazon for $10, right? I love what 404 Found Studios is saying here. You have to modulate your own emotions. Is this a healthy expression if you're somebody that gets upset? Now, most of those guys are gone right now, right? They're going to take that anger and they're going to then focus it on something else. But for those of you that are remaining, let's talk about the investment here a little bit more, okay? Because we have to look at this from many different angles. And I don't want to spend all the time just talking about money, because it disproportionates actually what we're doing here. But so for some of you, the question is, man, this is a lot for me to invest from the money perspective. And there's pressure on you because it feels like you're putting a lot of eggs in a single basket. For others of you, it's not so much the money, it's what it represents. It represents that I have to vote now that says this is worth my attention. And so should I put my money into this or should I put my money into something else? Some of you are like, I just bought a product last week. Should I buy another one? That seems irresponsible. So that's the money issue to you from that perspective. For others of you, the money issue is more of a permission issue. It's like, if I spend this, somebody else might get upset. So I don't know how to deal with that, right? So we're going to investigate all of those different perspectives on investment because there's not a one size fits all here. And, $1,495. And sometimes in my life, it's been more than I can manage. And at other times in my life, it's been such a hassle for me to stop the payment that I just let it go through because the few minutes to, deal with it weren't worth the cost of $1,495. So I've been on both sides, right? But I really like the sentiment from 404 Found Studios because that's going to be useful to you in all areas of your life. George Michael says, I'm still committed to this. And Cayenne says, once paid for, how do we access these programs and how long do we have access to that? So, Iman, can you talk about that?
Well, how long they have access to the programs? Well, listen, your Promise program, you'll have access to lifetime. And in terms of our work with you until you win guarantee, of course, just like, every year there's a new iPhone, every year a new iPhone comes out. Obviously, as we continue to improve our products. So our guarantee is that, listen, if let's say a year from now or 18 months from now, a new version comes out and you haven't made 15 grand, you get that for free.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to pay for it. You're going to get it for free. Okay. Now, when it comes to the softwares, as you guys saw, it's a $2,999 a year subscription. So we're going to give you a full 1 year entirely for free. Obviously, that's already crazy enough. And by the way, there's a lot of stuff where what we wanted to do really is delight you. And that's why two of the bonuses we haven't even revealed. And one of them is, you think Synthesize is crazy? Wait till you see the other one. And once again, this is something that is done for you. Like, it's literally a software. In fact, it's a software that, I spent a long time. Synthesize, we developed this other software I actually had to make an investment in. And no, it's not WAP. WAP now we actually made public. So it's the first time I'm ever announcing it or ever revealing it to the people inside Monetize. So yeah, long story short, you'll have the product for life. The community for life. In terms of the coaching, it is a 1 year. Software, it's 1 year. Software is 1 year regardless. But when it comes to the courses, community coaching, we have our work with you until you win guarantee. So I believe it's pretty fair enough that, like, if you use our product and you use our solution and you make a 10x return, I think it should be fair enough that if there are future versions, and when the new iPhone comes out, it should be fair enough that, first of all, you'll probably be trying to throw your credit card at us, wanting the new versions. But the main point and, the reason I'm doing such a crazy guarantee is I'm saying that in 6 years' time, when we have a monetized V5, if you haven't hit that 15 grand, and once again, we have full transparency. This is the reason that we're the only ones that can offer this, is because of McConer and WAP now.
Yep.
If we're at V6 you're going to get V6 for free, because I don't want to make another penny unless we have made good with our promise. So that's basically our whole work with you until you win guarantee. And by the way, that also applies to the community and the coaching. So even 3 years from now, if you haven't hit that 15 grand that you made through digital products on WAP, once again, we have a site of all this. And actually, you know, I'll do this for you guys. I didn't get a chance to talk about this in the main section, and this is why you guys are all fucking legends for hanging behind and having this more informal stuff, because I get to talk about things I can't normally talk about. When you make your first sale on WAP, coffee's on us.
Hell yeah.
And I mean that, no, literally. I mean, literally, we can do things that no one else can do. So once you make your first sale on WAP, your first verified sale on WAP, we're actually going to airdrop you $5. So that way, when you go buy your coffee, know that coffee's on us, because we see you and we appreciate you. And we fucking love the fact that you got your first win. All right. And we want to acknowledge you. You know, of course, we've got this, you know, the crazy leaderboards and this and the top 30, you know, you're going to be in the top 30. I'm literally going to be shaking your hand in New York 3 months from now at the WAP HQ. Of course, that's amazing. And I want to celebrate those people, but I also want to celebrate the person that gets their first win. So when you get your first win, you actually get airdropped $5 straight into your WAP account. And when you go buy coffee, know that that's from us. And we fucking, you know, we're rooting for you more than you're rooting for yourself. Trust me.
Hell yeah.
When you hit your first $10,000, we airdrop you $100. All right. Because we want you to go take yourself out to dinner, go take your loved one out to dinner, go take someone that you made a promise to, you know, as part of your why, go take them out to dinner, and know that when that bill comes, we cover that bill. All right. We cover that bill, and dinner's on us, and we want you to celebrate. All right. So whatever stage you're at, this is only possible, and what we're doing is only possible because of you know, my investment into WAP, and you know, really from a holistic perspective, when it comes to actually creating your product, having the software to create your product. In terms of distribution, I'm not going to talk about it yet, but having the software to get you infinite distribution on tap. Also having the WAP marketplace. You know, I had an ad that I filmed, and I think some people took it the wrong way. I was like, this is kind of like Jeff Bezos teaching you how to make money. Guys, in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I trying to compare myself to Jeff Bezos. He's an incredible entrepreneur. And, you know, I don't think I'll ever reach those levels. I guess what I was really just trying to say is the fact that I have insider insight and access and secrets. So when I say, you know, it's kind of like Jeff Bezos showing you how to make money with Amazon FBA. Of course, Amazon FBA has an algorithm. You know, it's got a ranking system. It's got an SEO system. It's got, if you had the insider knowledge of how to actually take advantage of Amazon FBA's marketplace, then of course you have a much higher chance of success. And that's really what we do. The WAP marketplace is still in its infancy, by the way. It's about to hit its boom, but it's still moving. It's $2 to $3 million, but actually sometimes it's even $3 to $5 million. And what that means is every month we're putting in anywhere from $2 to $5 million in our users' pockets. We're giving you the distribution if you do it right. Now, bear in mind, all the people who are making $2 to $5 million a month, all of those people on WAP, they don't have access to the insider secrets. Okay, they just have to figure it out. They just have to guess it. Whereas I can actually tell you, hey, here is the SEO secrets that can actually help you rank and get sales from that marketplace. Here's the no-goes, because of course, you know, we're a very big company, and you know, we have a reputation that we need to uphold. So there's certain things that are not a good look for us. We need to avoid.